Rock Heroes, and I don't know if you can hear this wonderful music that's in the background, but it's you know, kind of distracting me here. But hey, just another truckload of interviews here tonight on the show. We got, as I probably told you already in the studio, we got, of course, Brian Vollmer from Helix, and a few minutes later we have, I don't know who, from Slick Toxic, so we'll check that out. But for those of you who missed Helix back in town a couple of weeks ago, here's the frontman himself, Brian Vollmer. Welcome to Hard Rock Heroes.
Nice to be here, Bo.
Okay, now last time you were here was about spring of '91. You were promoting Back for Another Taste, and you were also here at the, I believe, a venue on York Street doing that as well. Are you still promoting that record, or are you just here having fun this time?
Still playing off that album. I'm going to be trying to write some songs while we're out west on this tour, and hopefully get the next album out by the end of the year.
Okay, any thoughts or ideas on any changes or any...
Get asked that question, but when we sit down to write an album, primarily our focus is just on producing some good songs. I've been writing with Anthony Vandenberg up in Toronto. We've come up with a few, and Paul's been actually doing some writing with Harry Hess of Harem Scarum as well as myself.
Sounds good. Any idea when we can expect that out, or is it too early to judge right now?
It's a little bit early, but I would like to see it out probably by the end of the year, early spring of next year. Helix always takes so long to put albums together, but it's just the way it goes, I guess.
Yeah, and sometimes you need the time, and once you take the time, you find out they turn to super records. Now, let's talk about personnel. When you were on the Canadian Music Video Awards and Much Music, I'm watching you guys, I'm thinking, holy smokes, there's Brent Doerner. Is he back in the band now? Is Denny Balicki gone? I always thought Denny Balicki was a sideman. What's happening with the guitarist?
Well, Denny Balicki was a hired sideman. Denny joined the band with us knowing up front, and with him knowing that his tenure with the band would last as long as the initial touring, the first touring we did was completed. Then when he left, we had offers still to tour through Ontario, but it was mostly weekend things because we all had, excuse me, other things we were doing. I was writing down in New York, and so we needed someone quickly, so Brent came back to do those gigs, and then we ended up getting the Western tour, and then he came out. Now, the reason Brian, his brother, is with us is because Fritz pulled a disc on his back and had to get a disc removed from his spine. So Fritz is out of commission for about 4 months, and the Western tour was already booked, so Brian ended up doing this tour as well.
That's Fritz's...
No, Brent's brother. It's Brian.
But Fritz is still officially a member of the band, and he'll be back.
Fritz will be back.
Okay,
and if you're listening out there, Fritz, get well, man.
So are you looking for a permanent guitarist, or have you found someone already?
Not really. I would like to see a permanent guitarist, but right now my focus is, like I said, just trying to get this next album out. It's hard to get somebody right now for us because really we haven't got an album. It'll be a lot easier, I think, when we got an album ready to go, and we audition people and we go, okay, here's the album, here's the songs. We obviously want people to like the music, right? And we're going out to tour. You want to be in the band, and then we see we like them, and off we go.
So for the people who had to miss the show, unfortunately, a few weeks ago, who was playing guitar here in Winnipeg that night?
It was Brent Doerner, the doctor, back with us.
Super. Well, if you missed it, I'm sorry you missed a great show. Now, I hope this isn't too sensitive a question. There seems to be some type of difference that I've noticed between hard rock bands in the 70s, hard rock bands in the 90s sometimes. It seems that in the 70s, every big band played in an arena. April Wine, Triumph, Streetheart, and yourselves. It seems these days in the 90s, a lot of the acts are doing shows in venues that are a little bit smaller. Skid Row is going to be here later in the week playing to less than 2,000 people. You're playing a bar. Are people just not interested in hard rock anymore, or what's happening there?
I think the economy, well, first off, I think everything goes in cycles, and secondly, I think the economy's hurting everybody. There's clubs going down left and right. I know Night Moves closed up in Sudbury.
Not Winnipeg, that's Sudbury.
Real happening club in Sudbury, and there's clubs going down all across Ontario. It's almost impossible for a beginning band to even go out and tour. Back in the late 70s when Helix started, touring was just a natural part of the business. We did numerous tours out to the East Coast, Northern Ontario bar circuit, out Western Canada, and that's essentially was our training ground, right? And we could survive by playing the clubs week after week after week, and not only that, get a wider perspective just from being out of town and going to different locations. Nowadays, I think bands are kind of isolated in the cities, right? And they don't really tour a lot because the money isn't there, the clubs aren't there. So I think it's a lot more difficult, actually. And not only that, back in the 70s, You got to remember, rock and roll basically started in the middle 50s, right? So now it's, you know, I think too, because of the hype through TV and radio and magazines, there's a lot of kids out there that have this idea that, you know, they're going to become overnight millionaires, but it's a very, very, very small percentage of people that actually make big money, right? So there's my point is there's so many people in the business competing, and competition is so fierce that you take that with the economy and everything, coupled with the economy and everything else, and that's why bands are backing up. It's the only way you can survive out here, right? There's not as many opening dates, say for a band like Helix on a large concert. Now all of a sudden you got bands like, I hear Guns N' Roses and Metallica are teaming up. Am I correct there? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show you there's two platinum acts, and they both have to team up to draw people. So it shows you the how can I say, the state of concerts nowadays. Not only that, but if you look at ticket prices nowadays, they're pretty high. You know, people aren't going to shelve out the, what is it, 26 bucks a ticket or whatever.
Generally, yeah, with agency, if you know that, up around 30.
Yeah, back when we were playing concerts, it was more like 12 bucks a ticket, you know. People would go to a lot more concerts, there was a lot more tours and a lot more opportunities, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's too bad, and I'd love to see Helix play to 10,000 people at the arena someday. One last question.
So would I.
One last question. What's happening states-wise? You still have your contract in the States? You gonna have any records out in the States?
Actually, our record company went bankrupt. But I always get asked quite frequently what we're going to do for a record deal, and I think people expect me to react that I'm worried about it, but one thing I've learned over all the years being in the business is that if you have good material and you have good songs, there'll always be somebody out there to exploit you, right? So in other words, if you got good songs, I think you will eventually get a record deal, and I plan to be in this business till I'm, you know, 60 years old. I'll probably still be in this business, so it's not really something I think and worry about, you know what I mean? Maybe I should, but I don't really. I think if we write the songs and the songs are good, there'll always be people to buy the records, and so you'll get a deal.
And then you can look forward to all those photo session opportunities for all the American rock magazines.
And being on these video shows, right, with you, and, yeah.
Okay, well, for those of you who missed the show a couple of weeks ago, we're going to see a little taste, as the album says, they're back for another taste, so we're going to see another taste. You saw them already, if you remember, Springtime on Hard Rock Heroes of '91. We're going to show you another little taste of how Helix performed in concert a few weeks ago, and after that we'll go, I'm not sure if it's to me in the studio or to Slick Talks It, but one of the two, and we'll see. Watch this, here's Helix on Winnipeg's only Hard Rock TV show, Hard Rock Heroes.